This pan performs like nonstick, but since there's no nonstick coating, it won't scratch and it will last forever. At least that's what Viking, the maker of this pan, wants you to believe. To test the nonstick claims, I cooked eggs and other sticky foods with and without greasing the surface, and I compared the results against other pans that make similar claims. I also cooked dozens of meals in it over several months to see how it holds up over time. To test the durability claims, I scraped it with metal ladles, spatulas, whisks, and a serrated steak knife. And I ran an aggressive corrosion test to see if it resists pitting. They also claim it heats evenly, so I measured the temperature at the center and edges and compared the results to dozens of other pans I've tested. In this video, I show you the results of my tests. You'll see if the Viking PureGlide Pro collection lives up to its claims or if it's just another well-marketed gimmick. The biggest claim Viking makes is that the pan delivers nonstick performance without any nonstick coating. So that's the first thing I tested. Before I show you what I did, it's important to know what the cooking surface actually is. The Viking PureGlide Pro is a stainless steel pan with an aluminum core, similar to most clad cookware. But on top of the interior steel layer, Viking sprays titanium using a plasma fusion process. The surface is matte gray, and honestly, it just looks like a nonstick coating. I contacted Viking's customer service multiple times, and they confirmed there's no nonstick coating. It's essentially melted titanium sprayed onto the steel. To test the nonstick claims and see how this unique titanium cooking surface performs, I preheated the pan on medium-low until the cooking surface reached 325 degrees, added a half teaspoon of oil and 2 grams of butter, and cooked an egg. The egg slid around with just a shake of the pan. I didn't need to loosen it with the spatula at all. I ran the same test with several other titanium pans and a stainless steel pan, and they all performed well, but Viking was the slickest. Some of the others needed a nudge with the spatula to get it going. Next, I ran the same test with no fat at all. The egg in the Viking pan stuck a little bit in a few areas, but I could still flip the egg without ripping it apart, which was pretty impressive. The other pans stuck badly. The only other pan that passed this test was our place. I also cooked pancakes on each pan with a little butter. Viking passed this test easily, as did the other pans. Without any butter, the pancake didn't stick to Viking, but it did stick a little bit to some of the others. Besides these controlled tests, I've been cooking eggs, meat, and other sticky foods with this pan almost every day for the past 4 months. And I've tried different combinations of fat and heat. What I've found is that butter makes the biggest difference. When I use butter or a mix of oil and butter, the results are consistently nonstick every time. When I use just oil, the results are less predictable. Sometimes the egg releases cleanly, and other times there's some sticking. Oil also tends to flow around the pan, so unless you spread it evenly with a paper towel, there's a chance part of the egg isn't sitting directly over oil. The next claim I tested was durability. Viking claims this pan is metal utensil safe, 3 times harder than stainless steel, and can withstand 5,000 cycles with a pizza cutter. To test that, I ran several scratch tests. Before I get into that, I want to quickly thank GoDaddy for sponsoring this video. Back in 2017, I was working a corporate job, but I always knew I wanted to do something more entrepreneurial. And when I came up with the idea for Prudent Reviews, the very first thing I did was buy the domain prudentreviews.com through GoDaddy. That domain was the foundation for everything that came next. After work and on the weekends, I built the website, started reviewing products, and eventually launched the YouTube channel that you're watching right now. Fast forward about 9 years, and Prudent Reviews has turned into a full-time business. And it all started with securing that domain. A domain is basically your website's address on the internet, but it also unlocks everything you need to start and grow a business online. With GoDaddy, you can build a website, set up a professional email, and access tools that help you manage everything in one place. If you've ever thought about starting something online, getting your domain name is really the first step, and GoDaddy makes that process simple. If you're ready to start your next big thing, click the link in the video description or scan the QR code and get a domain on GoDaddy. So for the first scratch test, I attached a 5-pound weight to a metal ladle and scraped it across the pan 50 times. Then I did the same thing with a metal spatula. There were some white marks that looked concerning at first, but it turned out to just be metal dust from the utensils transferring onto the pan. It wiped right off with no permanent damage. Some of the other pans I tested had visible scratches that you could feel with your fingernail. Next, I took a serrated steak knife, attached 2 magnets weighing 130 grams, and rubbed it across the pan 15 times. And there were still no scratches or damage. For comparison, I ran the same test on a traditional nonstick pan, and the knife cut right through the coating. After that, I put a heavy-duty Scotch-Brite sponge green side down on the pan, placed the 5-pound weight on top, and pushed it back and forth 20 times. Again, there was no damage. Several of the other pans came out of this test with visible scratches. Finally, I set up a stand mixer so a metal whisk was making firm contact with the cooking surface and let it run on low for 30 seconds. Like the ladle test, there were scary-looking white marks that turned out to just be dust from the whisk breaking off. This test did leave behind a faint circular mark that you can see in certain lighting, but there's no indentation and no actual scratch. After all that, I wanted to see if any of these tests affected the nonstick performance. So I ran the same egg test again with a half teaspoon of oil and 2 grams of butter. And fortunately, the egg didn't stick at all. Before I get to the next claim, I have a very quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying this video and you want to see more reviews like this, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for your support. Another major claim with titanium pans is that they're more resistant to corrosion than stainless steel. To test that, I added 20 grams of non-iodized salt and 20 grams of filtered water to the pan, let it sit for an hour, heated it on high until the water evaporated, then let it sit for another hour before cleaning and inspecting. I did 3 rounds of this. After all 3 rounds, the Viking showed 0 signs of pitting or corrosion. The stainless steel pan I ran through the same test started developing dark spots after the first round that I couldn't remove with vinegar or barkeeper's friend. By the 3rd round, those spots were starting to eat into the steel, and I could feel the indentations with my fingernail. To be completely fair, this is an extreme test. If you add salt after the water is boiling and you don't leave salty food sitting in your pans overnight, pitting shouldn't be an issue with stainless steel. But the Viking handled the worst case scenario without any damage at all. Viking also claims that this pan heats fast and evenly. So to test that, I ran it through the same heat tests that I do with every single pan that I review. After 2 minutes on medium heat, the center reached 375 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a little bit slower than most stainless steel pans, but not a big deal. It just means you have to give it an extra minute to preheat. In terms of evenness, after 2 minutes on medium heat, the gap between the center and the outer edge was only 35 degrees. The average gap for a pan like this is around 80 degrees. Because of this, food browns evenly across the whole surface, instead of darkening in the center and staying pale around the edges. To test heat retention, I heated it to 400 degrees, took it off the burner, and after 5 minutes, the surface dropped to 125 degrees. It doesn't retain heat like a thick cast iron pan, but that's not what this pan is designed for. Beyond the numbers, the real-world cooking experience has been excellent. It sears well, it cooks evenly edge to edge, and the temperature stays steady. It doesn't get too hot too fast and burn your food, and it doesn't lose heat the second you add something cold. It's a very easy pan to control, and it's enjoyable to cook with. So after all that testing, is Viking PureGlide Pro worth buying? Before I give you my take, just a quick heads up that I've linked to this pan and the full collection in the video description. So the short answer is yes, it definitely is worth buying. The nonstick performance is excellent, the titanium surface doesn't scratch, and after 4 months of almost daily use, it performs exactly the same as day 1. I've tested other nonstick alternatives that perform well, but over time residue can build up on the surface and cause sticking if you don't keep it clean and smooth. The Viking wipes clean easily with no residue buildup, and because of that, the performance hasn't changed. It's also just a well-designed and well-balanced pan. It's 2.8 millimeters thick, it has good heft without being too heavy, the wall height is ideal, and the sloped walls make it easy to toss and flip food. My only minor complaints are that it's not dishwasher safe, and the handle angles up more than I'd like, which puts your wrist in an awkward position while hand washing it. This pan is not cheap, but if you want non-stick performance without worrying about the surface wearing out, this is worth buying. If this was helpful, check out this video where I compare 3 other pans that claim to offer non-stick performance without any coatings. And for more videos like this, click the logo to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.